You're more of an athlete than you give yourself credit for. Now, this is what I tell my girlfriend sometimes when she's at home squirreling on the couch after a heavy dose of Instagram and she's aware of the feeling of anxiety and she's already pushed at the gym that day and done yoga and she's not sure why she's still feeling anxious. Well, you're more of an athlete than you give yourself credit for, I tell her. And so I ask her to try going for a run, just 2 kilometers. She might need more activity than what she's actually giving herself because she is, after all, this firecracker of energy, and maybe she needs to push a little bit harder. I imagine that if LeBron James swapped her place, I mean, not as like loving girlfriend, but as in like swapped his training routine for hers, I imagine he'd be very bored as it wouldn't be really challenging enough for him. So now, after having sport in her life, she's posting content about her introduction to sport and showing how she's changed because of sport over the past couple of years. She looks so much healthier now. She's just glowing, and she's sharing that message with the following, and it's really touching. And then I think about how we don't see the world as it is, but we see the world as we are, and how often we project what we're feeling onto others. And so I tested this out by saying what I said to her to myself. I might be more of an athlete than I give myself credit for. I mean, I already trained something like 10 hours a week. For Withings, the body scale, that puts me into athlete status. And I don't know if that's credible or not, but still, it's something that's on their scale. And so it makes me think, because to put on athlete status, you need to work out more than 8 hours a week. And I already do 10 hours a week. And it says your resting heart rate should be below 60. And I'm at 46. My VO2 max is 57.5, which isn't elite athlete status, I know, but it's still really fucking good for my age. Maybe in some ways, I'm more of an athlete than I give myself credit for. And that's actually hard for me to sit with. And I'm feeling a lot of resistance here because being a professional athlete was my first major dream in life. I really wanted to be a professional basketball player when I was in high school. And I had every inch of my wall covered in pictures from Slam magazine. And I played a lot, like 3 hours a day for the majority of my teenage life. I'd be shoveling the courts in winter to play in the cold. And walking up hills both ways. This was before the internet. And by the end of high school, I gave up on my dream because I realized I'm nowhere near good enough to play pro. And with that realization, I just thought I wasn't an athlete at all anymore, but just a book nerd. And so I gave up on sports and I dedicated myself to academia. But now, in these years of my life, I'm putting efforts towards being my most authentic self. And so I'm allowing both of those to be a part of my life. Just today, I realized that I might still have some of that high school wound with me as I keep seeing all these fitness influencers, these runners and lifters, and thinking that I can never be like them because I'm not an athlete. I'm too old now. And then I saw the story about Milton, who at 70 years old ran a sub 3-hour marathon, and he did it multiple times, and he only started running in his 40s. And I figure, you know what? I can do what Milton did. I'm more of an athlete than I give myself credit for. And just because I'm not the best doesn't invalidate my efforts.